CM4K is in its 7th year now. And the idea is, at that time, was to bring students together in order to share their skills, their interests in media studies within a community building context. So community media is being used and utilised to empower communities to give them a voice. But the important thing was that because we were only here for 2 weeks in a year, it was to train students here and to give them the capacity and the skills and the knowledge and the critical understanding that they could work with communities in order to carry on that work as in community media modules themselves throughout the year. Community Media for Kenya adopts a transformative learning approach which brings together media studies students from the universities of Brighton and Rongo.
Get there if you can.
Lucas, Daisy.
I'm Cathy.
The people from Cham Wadu approached CM4K to explore ways in which building a community radio station would help address local community information and communication needs.
This year we were to go into the community proper. We want to know the community. We want to profile them. We want to know their needs before we begin to set in and do our thorough research work.
I think our first trip to the community this year was an amazing experience. As soon as we got there, the welcome that we received, the singing and the welcoming, and they realised that only some were there, so they stopped and waited for the rest to come, and then they started again. And by that time, everyone was singing, and it built up to the crescendo of the tonguing noise that they make. To have almost 50 people from the community wanting to engage in this project, wanting to engage with people that they've never met before, wanting to share the stories of their lives, seeing my students encounter that, seeing the Kenyan students encounter that, seeing the students having to come together for probably the first time in the field, and the challenges that throws up. And we've had the most fantastic workshop sessions there and then that the community really enjoyed, they really engaged with. They shared their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations, their views.
It is motivating to know that whatever we plan to achieve, we've actually achieved it and even more. And to see how they work together with the students. There's no distinction that we are the community, these are the students. No, they have come together in a very strong way, and that is a very good way to start off this project.
At first it was quiet, and then they were not responding very well to the questions, but we explained it in very simple terms, and actually they were very resourceful.
CM4K uses a participatory partnership approach known as PEARLS. PEARLS stands for Partnership Education, Action Research, Learning Scenarios. And in this approach, students first engage with each other to develop the relationships of trust needed to engage in collaborative research and collaborative learning. They also need, of course, to engage with the community. Having engaged with the community, they then need to assess the community problems before planning and finally creating a solution to those community needs, in this case, building a community radio station. They've had to do the gutty stuff today. They've had to do the analysis, and that's never as much fun. And there were a few grumps and groans at the early stages of the morning, and it's very hot in that room. But they all got together, they did it, and some of the most incredible stuff's come out of that qualitative analysis that will enable us to build an understanding of the community we're working with.
So basically what we're doing, because yesterday we went to go see the Kapala water tribe that have the spring. So I think today we're just summarising all the information that they gave us, because they gave us lots of information. So it's just kind of putting it in a chronological order as what's the most important, how to figure out what to do, and whether there's a bigger picture that mutually benefits all of the groups, because it's hard to just do one for one group. So I think it's trying to figure out if there's a common denominator in all 5.
To us, the notes that we took yesterday in the groups, it was more of an highlight of what we are supposed to do, or what we are supposed to document down in our research. And most of the things that we've highlighted down today, it was about the themes, the topics, the main things that the society needs, or the main things that the society is having at the moment.
It felt a little bit repetitive, but I know that's what it needs to be, because you need to be thorough. So I think if you understand the methods more, like especially the methods that Pete's trying to get across, you do need to repeat yourself, and we need to keep going over the aims, because I think the more you go over their needs, you can realise what is important and not just the little things, but you think that's just talking over and over again.
They've never engaged in these methods before. They're third-year students most often. Some of the Kenyan students are second years and third years and fourth years. But they're just beginning to engage with an area that's really difficult for students anyway, research method and research methodology. And at times it can be incredibly dry and boring. But this is a completely different approach, and they've never had any experience of it.
I kind of did sit at points and think, I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but I know it's beneficial, like the data, but I think that's because we've never had that yet in uni. So then you come to Kenya and you're doing everything that you've written about and read about.
The process takes the form of a community-based participatory research project. It's a pilot study comprising 40 students and 50 community members from 7 agricultural self-help groups.
So we haven't actually got anyone in our group that speaks Lua. But we'll make it work.
Anyone around that can speak it? Yes, there's a couple of people that can, so we'll have them translate.
We might have to listen back to the footage the audio we get on the Zoom, and then translate it later. I don't think we're going to have time to translate as we go.
Because I guess if we just filmed everything in Swahili, then we wouldn't be able to understand it unless we put in subtitles. Either way, we'll need a translation at some point.
I was in the dairy farmers group, and they really lack information about dairy. They don't have professional information, how to deal with their animals, how to work with the veterinary people and all that. So the core thing they need, more than everything, more than money, more than all the help we can give them, is that professional information.
I think a radio station will help these, as it's a big factor for communicating with loads of different areas. Instead of filming one area, you can actually reach out and loads of people could directly listen.
From the water spring project, the activities they take place there, they have constructed a water spring where the community gets the water, and then they have something to do with savings and loans. Okay, what I learned from the project is that those people are so organized, and they are trying to do everything that they can do to change the level of their standards of living and to eradicate poverty and many more other things.
The interview was good, and it was mind-blowing. Mainly they were telling us how this community radio can maybe be good to them, can become an advantageous to them, because they say that the main thing that they need right now is a platform for them to advertise their product, at the same time market their product. So that's what they need so much, and they were requesting if maybe the community radio network comes up, they can participate and maybe have a show of their own to advise the community around on how they can plant trees and what is needed for them to plant trees and how to plant them.
We have just interviewed the fish farming group that we met on Monday, so it's really nice to be here and actually see how many ponds they have, to see them in real life, because me and Rob were saying we didn't realise how close together they were. We thought they'd be scattered around a bit, but no, they're all in one straight line, and it's really, really good to see how it works and how the fish are fed and all loads of information that we've just got from them.
They have told us about many problems that they are facing. They lack many tools, like for fishing tools, storage tools, they lack them. And the government even isn't helping them in any way, so they are helping themselves out.
The challenge was, they asked us at the very end, was would it be possible to make their pond water clean like the spring water that we went to on a couple of days ago? And all we could say is just that a radio station will just be that way out there in order to spread the information and spread awareness that they need cleaner water in order for the fish to live longer and to be healthier and to sell more. And also, if this water, spring water, it will get other people coming around, like another, it'll prevent diseases. And it would be like another spring water project, like the other day. They don't want money just for economic growth. It's all about gaining information and gaining more skills and training. That's such an important part to them. They just want as much knowledge as they can, because they said fish are dying because they're not trained enough. They just don't have the skills or the techniques in order to keep the fish healthy. So it was really, really nice how they really do believe in this radio station, because all they want is just information.
Okay, the communication was easy because most of them understand English and Kiswahili, and they are really understanding what you're asking them, and they are answering according to the question. It was good.
I had an awesome experience with the horticulture group. One, I loved their social cohesion. They came together as a community and focused all their energy on one project. But I felt that the drought let them down, and maybe I'm thinking if they had community radio station, they would get to know of better agricultural practices, maybe greenhousing and maybe mulching, simple, basic ways to improve their production.
The bricks was really interesting, to find out how they do it all and look at them up close and personally.
It wasn't what we expected, I don't think. I knew they made them with their hands, but I thought there would be more kind of like where we just went to sugar cane, of some industrial turning and turnstiles and things like that, and it is literally their hands. And then there's a kiln just over there, which we don't have time to go see, but that's the only workplace. That is her house, and that's where she works.
I think one of the learning techniques that we applied was the transformative learning, in the sense of we sort of really pushed ourselves to come up with questions that we needed to sort of get out and get a scope of exactly what we need and what we can do for these people in these communities.
The data from the community research processes were then utilised by the students to create community media content. For example, a community radio programme in the form of a podcast.
Oh, we've had a week now in Kenya. Gosh, how's it been for you, Halima?
It has been awesome. The experience has been out of this world.
Gosh. How about you, Millie?
Absolutely life-changing. We started off our project yesterday, kicked off yesterday, where we are organising a radio show. That was our task. So we kind of joined the promo and the intro together yesterday.
We just started using the interviews that we had already done, trying to put them in logical order.
Yeah.
And it definitely seemed very daunting to start because there's just so much footage to go through, hours and hours of footage. But now that we made an intro yesterday, it seems like it's coming together now.
And then after the song, now we'll have the interviews with the members and the students at the same time. Ooh. So stay tuned!
Yay!
When it comes to theory, it's the same that happens on the entire course, is that every theory module has a practice element to it, and every practice module has a theory element to it. And the whole course is about applying practice through theory and theory through practice. So you're never going to be able to completely understand the theory until you put it into motion. And with participatory learning and transformative learning and just general community partnerships and all of these theories and all the things that we're taught throughout second year and third year, you're never really going to understand until you come out here and start doing them yourself.
Gathering information from all the communities has been very beneficial to all of our academics, because it's meant that we can have a lot of practical work to back up the theory we've been learning.
I think actually experiencing things firsthand is a great way to learn how to process what you're writing about, and you need to understand that it's not just a theory, it's actually something that you can do.
The start is always the difficult part, yeah? So we have met with this group several times, and now it's the beginning of the rubber has met the road. So from here, we have no alternative. There's no going back. There's no giving up.
One of the really nice things about the sad bit of coming to the end of the project is because students always develop, I'm always feeling a sense of pride. I'm always happy in the work they've done. I'm always happy about how they've evolved and developed as human beings as well as young scholars and academics. And that's certainly the case here. This year we've had 2 weeks working condensed, pressurised area, lots of trials and tribulations around the way, but actually they've grown from that. They've come together stronger. They've come together stronger with the Kenya students. They've bonded as friends and as learners together. And I couldn't tell you how happy I am with this year's cohort. And what we've tried to do is something incredibly innovative, something very exciting, but also very bold in terms of research. It worked on many levels. 1 or 2 other areas it didn't work, but that's okay. We learn from that and we'll go again.